Look at those fall colors, you guys. Wow. That is so, so pretty. I hate missing fall colors living in Florida sometimes, but I always manage to get somewhere. This year was Canada. Colors were beautiful when I was just there. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. G. Thanks for joining us. It is time now for today's health news, sponsored by the Wellness Company. And under the microscope today, millions of people may have hidden genetic indicators that could raise their risk for cancer. According to a new report from the Journal of American Medical Association, roughly 5% of Americans have genetic variants linked to cancer. This means genetic mutations could be more common than previously thought. This finding is leading to more calls for genetic testing. The study focused on 70 common cancer-related genes and found that more than 3,400 are mutations. Commonly, genetic testing is only done for those with a known family history of the disease. But, since this article, number one, came from the AMA, and number two came from the AMA, my guess is that they're going to think of lots of reasons why you need to not try natural and holistic approaches to cancer. In fact, I read something in the American Pediatric Journal this weekend that said, hey, don't mention to women that breastfeeding is natural, because we wouldn't want them to resort to other natural means, because natural has become a cuss word with the AMA, the APA, and many others. New administration in Washington, D.C. has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The reality, though, is there's only so much government can do, and if we really want to make America healthy again, it's going to start at home with each of us, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from their doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy. They make sure you're prepared for whatever is going to come your way with a series of prescription medical kits that contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to tell you how to use the meds in the kit. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss, so much more. These can help you stay healthy and live a longer, more satisfying life. Make America healthy again. Starts at home, everybody. Do your part. Protect the health of yourself and your family. Go to twc.health/RAV today. Give it an order. That's twc.health/RAV. Use the promo code RAV. That'll save you 10%. Emily. Is there a song called Emily? There's got to be. How many? How many?
There is one. There was a show I used to do with WGN in Chicago, and there was an intro that would go, Emily, Emily. I'll have to look up and see what the song actually was.
Send it over. I'll start singing it when I intro you. I'm sure everyone would just love that, since I can't sing.
All right, Dr. Gina, we do want to turn our attention now to New York City, where Election Day is tomorrow. They're going to decide who's going to be the Big Apple's next mayor. According to polls, Zohran Mamdani's lead appears to be narrowing. The poll from Atlas shows Mamdani leading by 6 points, 4% to 34 over from Governor Andrew Cuomo. GOP candidate Curtis Sliwa has 24% in this poll. For more, let's bring in the head pollster for Rasmussen Reports, Mark Mitchell. Mark, is there any way that Mamdani loses this race? I mean, we were talking about this earlier in the show. This is going to be really tough for New York.
No, I haven't seen a single poll that had Cuomo up. And quite honestly, I think it's disgusting the way in which a lot of people on the right are begging folks to not vote for Curtis Sliwa, to vote for Cuomo, who has a lot of problems. He's basically a leftist also, in order to bail out New York City. This is what New York City wants. I think that that's basically the story here. And unfortunately, I think it's a wake-up call for the Republican Party as well, because you can see right now we're having a big old fight about neoconservatism, about whether the American First part of the wing is going to take over, or whether the establishment Republicans are going to rear their ugly heads again. Meanwhile, I think Generation Z is looking at the economy saying it's all coming crashing down. Pricing of houses is a crisis level. There's been wage stagnation for 20 years. The whole dating scene is completely broken. These people are on psychotropic medication. Like, this is not a well generation, and they are not conservative. They voted for Trump essentially because they want to burn the system down. And if the Republican Party can't give them that, they're going to vote for people like Zohran Mamdani. This is the future of the Democrat Party, and it's all going to be about economic populism. That's the future of our politics.
Mark, really quick, I am Gen Z, and you described that perfectly.
All right. Also,
Thanks.
Mark, another close race we are keeping our eye on is the gubernatorial race in Jersey. GOP candidate Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mickey Sherrill are in a dead heat, according to a recent Atlas poll. A recent Emerson poll also had Sherrill clinging to a 2-point lead. What does your polling tell you?
I did this race about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had Jack Ciattarelli down 6 points. I know people don't want to really hear that, but that's actually doing better than Trump did in 2024. Now, obviously, this is a mid-term turnout. It's going to be a little bit different than a presidential turnout. A lot fewer people are going to come. That benefits the Republicans. The weird thing in this race, though, is that if you look at the crosstabs, people who have a very strict voter screen, like they only are publishing very likely voter results, those are the ones that have Jack Ciattarelli within a point or two. And so if there's a low turnout and people who are very motivated come to the polls, then that's going to be potentially a Jack win. But if the polls are flooded by everybody, Mikey Sherrill's going to win. And that's the inescapable fact, again, just like New York. New Jersey is a blue state. And yes, Trump did outperform there, but it's not because all of a sudden people think that the Republican Party has an answer for the problems. And in New Jersey, the problems are basically affordability and prices. And there's only so much that a Republican politician can do there, especially when the state is full on like long, affluent suburban white Democrats. Like that's what the state is. And Jack Ciattarelli, I think, is running a good campaign. I think Mikey Sherrill's not a very good candidate. I'm appalled by her Naval Academy stuff. That's my alma mater. But again, I think people are looking around nationally at the Republican Party and expecting more, and it's going to have an effect on these races.
Mark, are there any other races that you're keeping a close eye on the polling data for? Any wild cards, any potential upsets that we should be looking out for?
No, I really don't think so. And especially Virginia, I don't think that's going to be an upset either. I think Jay Jones even is kind of coming back. What I'm going to look at next Tuesday is literally just, can Republicans turn out when Donald Trump is not on the ticket? Because Donald Trump didn't even come and campaign for Jack Ciattarelli. And he's, we're in the middle of a government shutdown. People are screaming for him to get focused on the domestic policy agenda. And we're a little bit too involved in overseas stuff. I'm sorry. And I know that a lot of that is the trade deals. But again, the optics are not very good for the American people. Donald Trump's approval rating is the lowest it's been of his term right now. It's not horrible. It's -8 net approval, but still, that's not the headline you want to hear. It could be worse. They could be punishing him a lot more about the shutdown. But I think people also want to see something. Congress is getting horrible rates now. It's got a 58% poor rating for the job it's doing right now. And even Republicans are rating Congress really, really bad. It's their Congress. So again, what is being done in order to, we all thought November 2024 was an existential election. And I just look at the Republican Party, and right now they don't really seem like they're involved with existential stuff. They just don't.
So what does that mean in terms of your predictions, actually, not just for the midterms, but going into 2028 as we look at that presidential race?
Well, what I've been calling for Republicans to do is break a sweat, break some rules, do something, use the nuclear option. Trump's calling for that now, but I've been calling for that for over a year. Pass good legislation. Just give America good one-page laws. They want something to change in D.C., and so just relying on the reconciliation option in order to paint a thin Trump executive order veneer on the back of what is essentially just a big Washington, D.C. spending abortion. That's what these things are. They have to change the script. And so 2026, you look at 26, the history tells us the Democrats are going to take the midterms, and the polling has Democrats up. Not that much. It could be worse. And what are we all talking about in regards to the midterms? It's all of this electioneering and gerrymandering. And it just reeks, because gerrymandering is not democratic. That's like legislators picking their voters and not voters picking the legislators. And people are saying, oh, it's great. Republicans are finally playing hardball. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess that's a good plan B. But plan A is you have Congress and the Senate. And I get that there's rules. I get that it's hard. But people don't think that our system of capitalism works anymore. And they're going to hold you accountable for it because you run the government now. And there's absolutely no sensitivity to that. Now, as far as 2028, I think J.D. Vance is far and away the favorite. And obviously, these things could change, but he's leading now in Republican primary polling more than Donald Trump was in the spring of 2022. He's up like 5 times higher than the next highest person, which are DeSantis and Rubio. So I think he's the heir apparent. And I think, just last week, he came out in a very bold way and gave us a peek at what his America First platform might look like if he runs. But let's also acknowledge that Washington, D.C. is packed full of really entrenched special interests of all types that have no interest in ceding the party to economic populists or non-neoconservatives or literally just anybody that says America first. And they're making that very clear right now.
Wow. That's a lot of information that you gave us there, Mark. My brain is swirling a little bit. Thank you so much for all that you do and for keeping us up to date on the polling. At least we know how people feel right now. But as I tell people all the time, especially for 2028, this is the equivalent of 2013, right, in 2016, to the 2016 election. So there's a long time before we get to 2028. But it's still fascinating to think about. Thank you so much.
Great to be here. Yeah, it's a crossroads for sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right, coming up, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman has a new warning for California Governor Gavin Newsom. What is it? We're going to tell you. We have Fetterman's comments on the other side of this break as American Sunrise continues.
Life came, gave me Emily. Will I be good enough for you? The truth is I'm afraid.